Welcome, everybody, to the Raad Life, the only talk radio show that takes you along with host and age explorer Rod Gantos on his continuing journey of discovery into life's challenges, opportunities, options, and all the latest and greatest things that come with getting older. The Raad Life is brought to you this week by Your Home for a Lifetime, a company dedicated to empowering you to stay safely, independently, and comfortably in your own home. And now here is your host, Rod Gantos.
Well. Are you pointing at me, Paul? Is that what you're doing?
That's what I'm trying to do.
I'm trying
here.
to get my headset on, and you're just pointing at me. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Raad Life, brought to you by Golden State Media Group, producers of such amazing shows as Check Out California, Your Key to California Hospitality, and Selling the Lux Life, our latest in the stable from Golden State Media. I want to just basically give a shout out to our engineer, Paul Roberts.
Yes.
Who most of the time makes it happen.
I didn't get the moment. We're all dressing in black today here.
Well,
Is that because of the rain?
It's rainy, yes, and it's gloomy, but it's not really as gloomy as it should be in Southern California because the friggin' sun still tries to peer its head out of the clouds, and so we are all in mourning for the lack of sunshine, and we're all dressed in black. But in the studio today, I have a gentleman with me that I have sort of a love-hate relationship with, actually. Yeah, I'm just going to come clean right now.
Yeah, hit
We're
me with it.
going to get, this is going to get...
Andrew has no clue. You know, he thinks we're all good. But I really have a kind of a love-hate relationship, but it's not what you think. I really like this guy. This guy is got it going on, and what I don't like about him is that he figured it out when he's half my age.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, without further ado, I'd like to introduce my guest for today's episode of the Raad Life, Mr. Andrew Lopez of Partner Channel OC.
You got it.
A partner with Golden State Media Group.
We are actually working on some stuff. I lined up an interview for Partner Channel OC yesterday with Mr. Carlos Goyman, and Andrew will share the link later. You can go check it out. We'll tell you a little bit more about what Partner OC has been doing. Partner Channel OC has been doing for the last 4 months now.
Since May. So
Since
it's
May.
been, what, 6?
Oh my
Pretty
God!
much 6?
You're like seasoned now. It's 6 months versus.
So real
4 months.
quickly, what do you do?
Well, so hold on a second.
I just want to cut to
Hold
the
on,
chase
hold
here.
on, hold on a
It's
second.
rainy.
It's rainy. Your knees hurting. You should.
My knee is hurting.
My knee's vibrating. It must be rain. Okay. So is that a Michigan thing?
That is actually
it's
true.
It's a Michigan thing, right? Okay. It's also arthritis, but that's a different story. Old man. Okay. So Andrew, let's start off actually to the urging of Mr. Roberts there. What is Partner Channel OC?
Well, yeah, thank you, Rod and Paul, for having me on the show. This is cool. I feel like I just launched an album, and I'm telling you about the 12 tracks I just released.
That's right.
Be careful,Ul. He was singing Danke Shane on the way over.
Danke Shane.
Okay, go ahead, Andrew.
Baby,
It's out of his
Danke
favorite
Shane.
movie, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. So go ahead.
We'll get the Wayne Newton
No.
here shortly.
Let's do
I
the.
do love that
I'll
movie.
tie it into the rest of the thing. Yes, absolutely.
You know what's really funny is when we actually have somebody on here that's actually a host of their own show, right? It's like when we had Jim
hard to
Riley.
control.
We had Jim
Right.
Riley on here, right? It's like, and it's funny because I was working on a graphic that I've put out for, we usually put out a graphic to announce who's going to be on the show. And so I was working on a graphic with Andrew, and he sends me a picture, and I'm like, no, I'm not using that one, right? So try to figure out what to use. And what's funny is when you're in front of the camera or you're behind the camera filming, there's not really a lot of pictures. So I basically had to figure out what to do. And I realized that one thing Andrew has never done is that he's never really interviewed himself.
No.
So I told him I'm going to be Andrew today, and I'm going to interview Andrew. So
Okay.
the graphic we put together is Andrew actually talking to
An
himself.
older
Absolutely.
version of Andrew.
The only time I talk to myself
An
is on
old
my-
version of Andrew.
Yes.
Yeah, this is your future version to interview.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's cool. I like
Look
it.
over at Rod. That's who you're
So
going to be.
what is Partner Channel OC?
Yes.
Partner Channel OC is...
Oh,
is
time's up.
a-
Got to go to commercial.
What is Partner Channel OC? Ignore him. It's okay.
No, it's a video channel that I started back in May where I interview, entrepreneurs and business owners here in Orange County, and it's reached out to Southern California. And I've actually had a guest out in Nashville, Tennessee, back in July. And for what it is it showcases, I give people a platform to share their story of why they created their business. All of us think, especially, people my age, and we're all thinkers, we're all visionaries, and we think that we have the next greatest idea. But a lot of times people don't follow through with that.
Right.
So I'm fascinated with people that have had a vision, had a passion, but actually did something with it.
That's really the truth, isn't it? We all have an idea for a book or a movie or a business, but few of us ever put that into practice.
Do you know what? I'll add another layer to that. Is that they not only is it that you put into practice, but that you stay true to what it was that you basically were trying to do.
Well, you're always about genuine and authentic.
But that's that's a hard one because in the euphoria of initiating something, of bringing something to life, you usually are a combination of naive, naive,
idealistic,
and idealistic and stuff like that. And there are a lot of forces, including ones that are basically driven by people that are not maybe as adventurous or as willing to take risks
or committed,
or more rigid in what works and what doesn't work, and having sort of that kind of background that will tell you, well, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? So it's not only the fact that it's interesting to find out from people who have pursued something that they had a vision for, but that throughout their own journey, whether it's backs and forth and slipping and rebuilding or whatever, ended up basically being true to what their initial, at least at its core, vision
Can I give
was.
you two quick examples? I was in the movie business, and everybody knows the horror stories. You come in writing a comedy, and pretty soon it's a tragedy by the time they're through rewriting it, or you got to put more sex in it.
Here's my book, and then the scriptwriter gets hold of it.
Yeah, all of a sudden, and you're like, wait a minute, this isn't true to my story. This isn't true to my vision here, but this is what'll sell. And so you give in, and suddenly you got a crappy movie, or maybe even a successful movie, one you're just not happy about. Conversely, we have people come in here all the time, VCs and people, angel investors and stuff, and they say, you know what, the vision was nice, but I'm more buying you. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping that you will adapt. You think you're going to sell this, but when the market says that doesn't work, but really this is more interesting, I want you to be able to pivot and adapt to that. So they're not looking for, you come in and say, I've got a pure vision, I'm passionate about this product, this idea, and they go, yeah, maybe, but if I buy you, I'll invest in it. And I'm hoping that you will be smart enough to adapt along the way. So one case, the VCs want you to be adaptable because they want to make money, just like the movie studios want you to adapt what they think the movie taste is. Your challenge is to push back and say, no, I got to stay true to it.
Businesses go through this all the time when you basically have a great idea and it launches and gets some traction, and then you want to expand and you bring in money.
Yeah, and they start telling you what they think will do.
And you're not careful of who you partner with, and you end up basically losing control of the situation because their vision isn't even close to clear on what you were trying to do, but they're now basically pulling the purse strings. So you have been doing this for 6 months. You have had an amazing, and I'm not being in any way understating this, an amazing number of people that you have talked to in 6 months. Mm-hmm. Just tell people how many people you have interviewed in 6 months.
Well, when our episode posts, you and I from this morning.
We did one this morning.
We did one this morning. It was really cool. And we're at 39. So with a couple we have scheduled tomorrow, a couple on Friday, by the first of the year, we'll hit 50, which is huge. And when I started this in May, I didn't think I would get 15 or 20,
right?
Let alone now almost 50, maybe.
And what kind of
50.
people? Who are you talking to? Big, little, interesting, unusual? Give me some adjectives that describe
I've had a bunch of great people on the show. And what's cool is everybody that I've had on the show, even this far, 39 guests now, everybody's done something different.
But let me just tell people, you've been doing it for 6 months. That's 24 weeks. Mm-hmm. Okay? You've had 39 guests.
It's more than one a week.
In 24 weeks. Mm-hmm. Okay? That's more than a guest a week. And I know for a fact this is not, what you're doing also like a job. This is something that you're pursuing because there's a part of you that has always been passionate about both connecting with people and the relationship aspect of it, and curiosity about what their business is, right? Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's an amazing thing to be dedicated and committed to achieving that kind of a library of content. I mean, I tell people all the time, and you and I were talking about this earlier, that right now everybody wants to do a podcast.
Oh, everybody!
Everybody wants to be in front of the mic. Everybody wants to be
or a YouTube channel or something
in the front of the camera and the mic and all this stuff, and it's really funny to watch people that basically go off, and we were just talking about people that have a vision of what it's going to be about, right? And then basically they don't realize exactly what is involved. And these are smart people. These are professionals that are successful.
And you have to do it all the time. You can't just do it once in a while when you feel like it. You can't just create. If you want to build a channel, you can't create two interviews.
From curating guests, right, Andrew? From making sure that the content of a caliber is consistent. From
doing the research about the guests and being able to talk to them.
And to be true to what it is that you say your show or your channel is about. Because I will tell you what is the most... Sorry, I'm gonna say it. The most pathetic thing the most pathetic thing that I have experienced when it comes to podcasts is people who basically take on a podcast, and then within a very short period of time, they are basically like spaghetti, meaning that they throw anything at the wall and see what sticks. They will grab anything
because I got to do it tomorrow,
and I got to do it the day after, and even if it's planned, it's like I'm sorry, you started off talking about food. Now you're talking about brakes on cars. Unless you're a consumer product show, then what the heck does food and brakes on cars have to do? Well, they weren't
clear what the vision, why they were doing it in the first place, and then they quickly run out of topics or ideas, and the pressure gets them, and they'll do anything. Just get it out. Good enough is okay.
So my piece of advice to people that basically are doing podcasts these days, because I will tell you, the community out there is brutal.
Oh.
Okay? And if your content ain't truly authentic, and if it's just boilerplate and you got people basically posting for you and it's not your own voice that's coming through, I will tell you something. Pull the plug.
Yes.
Pull the plug. Walk away. Go do something else. Spend time with your family. Go hang out at the beach.
Social media, and this is a form of social media, and what he's doing in videos too, can sniff out fake and phony and...
If you don't have the guts to actually, good or bad, put yourself out there. If you're an 8x10 glossy, let me tell you something. They're going to basically sniff you out in 2 seconds. And if they don't tell you to your face, they're talking about it behind your back.
I used to have an 8x10 glossy.
You have an 8x10 glossy? Yeah. So with your show, I want a little background. And I told you this. I was going to go there, right?
I still want to know what kind of people are on it.
Well, no, we're going to get there. Because I want to know why Andrew basically decided to do this on his own dime, take time to do this. Okay, what is it? What does it feed the part of you that it feeds? I mean, your a little background. Give us a little perspective on why is Andrew doing 39 interviews in 24 weeks?
I mean, I've always been fascinated with media growing up. You know, I was an athlete growing up, you know, as a kid, and it was always so.
What sport did you play?
I played soccer and baseball.
Okay.
You know, I loved football. Always felt like my stature was a little too, you know, small to play quarterback like I wanted.
The camera and in front of it is
exactly,
much bigger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I was always fascinated with ESPN. You know, they used to have this show called, I forget what it was called, but where they would get the next sportscaster, and they would have all these college grads, these journalism people, you know, from Arizona State, and these big journalism schools. And I was, you know, 11 years old at the time, like, I want to be that. You know, you could ask me at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, you know, I could do the pitching motion of every pitcher in baseball. Mm-hmm. I could tell you everything about the NHL, NBA. Like, I was a nerd. You know, my grades might not have fully affected it, but in the sports world, I knew everything. Yeah. And I was always so driven to just tell the story or capture a story, even from a young age.
And I've seen you nerd out, man. First time you brought up the baseball thing, and it was when I said, okay, you're coming on my show. You were nerding out with somebody we had just met and sat down with.
Yeah.
And I felt like, I have no clue what these guys are talking about.
It's just making connection with people, you know what I mean? And that's kind of, you know, I went to school for journalism. You know, I grew up originally from Sacramento. You know, I still rock the 916 on my cell phone and spent most of my life here in Southern California. Went away for school to kind of get out and
Where'd
appreciate.
You go to school?
Went out to Boise State, you know, go Broncos.
Yeah.
Go Orange, go Big Blue. I just wanted to get away. As much as I love Southern California, I just wanted to get away to appreciate what we have here more. Growing up here, you know, spending your childhood here, you take the ocean, you take In-N-Out Burger, you take everything, Wahoo's Fish Taco, you take all the good staples here, and you take it for granted. Then when you move away and you don't have any of that, it makes you realize, like, wow, we're pretty spoiled in Southern California. But I wanted to see the 4 seasons. I wanted to see spring turn into summer, summer turn to autumn, as they call it out there, autumn into winter. Yes, you know, I froze my butt off. It's nothing like what we have out here. But I wanted to get away, and I used to write about the football team. I used to follow the golfers around at Boise State and capture the story and take pictures. And I got to meet, you know, Chris Peterson, the football coach at the time, and I was just so fascinated with that I, you know, I came home after graduating in 2014 and tried to cold call, you know, ESPN LA and OC Register, and kind of just got the door slammed in my face. And I thought, well, maybe journalism isn't for me anymore. So I got into the technology, the IT industry, and here I am 4 years later. You know, graduated in May of 2014, and in May of 2018, I decided, hey, why don't I actually chase journalism again? Why don't I give it a shot and not just leave it to a pen and paper or a blog in my room?
Right.
And I'm going to interrupt one quickly before you continue the story. People come in here all the time. There are 5 or 6 college radio stations in this county alone. Umpteen different broadcast journalism programs, and they're all coming in here saying, I want a job. I say, wake up. The jobs aren't out there. The media has shrunk. The newspaper shrunk. The radio station's a robot. Automated station. The TV is not producing the local content here anymore. And then they look, and I say, but that's the bad news. The good news is you have the technology in your hand today. That smartphone, the internet, podcast, video, to reach far more people. But you've got to be entrepreneurial and tell your own story and find an audience for it and find ways to monetize that. And they go, I don't want to do that. I just want a job. I went to school. I want somebody to
and going
pay me.
back to what we were just talking about, everybody wants to be the personality in front of the microphone. But nobody wants to produce a show. Nobody wants to really think about it strategically. Nobody wants to figure out how to basically sponsor it. Yeah, it's great. It's a great hobby if you basically are paying for it out of your own pocket. Trust me, I know, right? But at some point or the other, like the IRS tells you, at some point it can't be a hobby anymore. It either has to be something that you're doing for a living, or maybe if it's a hobby, cool. But I mean, it's really funny because today, to your point, Paul, media has changed completely. And it is really funny when you look at print material, when you look at even like website material, everybody is hungry for content. Okay? And the reason why they're hungry for content, because let's just face it, a lot of these vehicles or venues that we're talking about, they're all basically driven by getting advertising money or pay to play or some sort of trade barter situation in order to figure out a way to pay for the glossy print or the large production studio or whatever it is, okay? And so they will basically take on anything. And if you write the content and you provide them quality photos and stuff of that nature, they will run it. So again, with so much stuff out there, with so much cacophony of content. Ooh, that's one. Can I
Cacophony, that's a big word.
Cacophony of content, though. Can I brand that? Cacophony of content, okay? You heard it here first, people.
It's a new hashtag.
Hashtag cacophony of content. Say no to cacophony of content, right? Cacophony is, look it up for those who don't know or haven't never read Asterix. What is cacophony, Paul?
Cacophony is it's not a symphony, it's
an unpleasant, annoying
noise. Yeah, it's an overwhelming
din.
Yeah.
Yeah. So cacophony of content out there. To weed through that to really the substance is becoming harder and harder. So that's why, when I saw what you were doing, it resonated with how we, both at Golden State Media and definitely on the Raad Life 4 years ago, when we started, we accidentally, and thank you again, Paul, for the opportunity of doing that 4 years ago. Thank you, Carrie Kasem, for being my first guest, because both of you not only provided an opportunity, but you also helped me unintentionally set a bar.
Yeah, right.
Okay, and now the truth is, do you hold true to that, or do you sell out? And the more I see that's been out there, that's put out there in standard media, print media, podcasts all over, and everybody's on podcasts right now, right? It's Spotify, whatever. Be discerning about what you digest, people, okay? And go to people and listen to people that are willing to put themselves out there, like Andrew does, where you give the spotlight to the guest. You let them tell their story. You are a storyteller through your guest, right? But the quality of people that you have been able to pull, and I want to shift to that right now, the quality of people that you've been able to pull for having done this for 4 months is pretty astounding. So I just really want to give you kudos, honestly.
Thank you.
Yeah. I know you're very humble, and you don't do that, and I basically, I told you I'm going to beat it into you that you are actually pretty much a superstar, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I'm flattered by that.
I just can't stand the fact that you got there at half the number of years.
Young punk kid.
But you know what? That's awesome. I mean, it really, there's a part of me that's like, I can't wait to see what you do next. I know you've got like a ridiculous goal before the end of the year, right? You're at 39, but what's your goal for by the end of December?
50. I know the holiday week's coming up. That week, with Christmas being on a Tuesday, just trying to get to 50, and I think I'll be pretty close. But like I said, I was happy to get to 20. When I made my new intro video back in, what was that, August? When I had 20 episodes, I sat back and was like, I have 20 episodes in 3.5 months. Yeah. I didn't think I would do this. And here I am staring at 50. So
the question's still burning in my brain. It was my first question.
What are some of the guests that who was your first guest? I'm curious.
My first guest was Gina Leslie. She works for Stuart Title, and she also has a personal fitness blog. And I met her at a networking event, and I was real nervous. I had this idea for Partner Chanelisi in this time last year, in November, and I thought about it. And no one's gonna watch this. No one's gonna care, And I typical, what we all do is, I got this cool idea, but no one's going to care.
You tried to talk yourself out of it almost?
Tried to talk myself out of it for 7 months. And then finally, May comes around. And May is my birthday month. And I just looked at myself and I said, you know what? 26 is the, instead of new year, new me on January 1st, it was like New Year, new me turning 26. Yeah. And I look back to May 17th when I turned 26. And to me, it's been the magic number. I almost don't want to. I'm so excited to stay 26. I don't want to be 27 yet, So it's just, Gina Leslie, she works for Stuart Title, and I met her at a networking event, and I was like, hey, would you be on my show? Yeah. And, she doesn't own Stuart Title, but she had a good story, being from another state, coming to Huntington Beach, starting here, choosing to stay here and grow her career here, and how she valued partnerships. And I was like, okay, and a couple guests were a couple other people, and then I think it was episode 5, with Total Solutions, which was Brendan Burns and Matt Flyzik. He is a Microsoft SharePoint company out of Detroit. He flew out to do the show at my office.
He flew out to do your show?
His fifth show.
Fifth show. Brandon Burns, who's the LA rep, he's from the Heartland, came out, my way. Yeah. Or he's here, in LA and growing the business that's in Detroit. They wanted to move out west. I met Brandon at a Microsoft event, and he was like, hey, what you do is cool. I want, my CEO is flying out because I'm new here in the territory. Can we schedule an interview in a couple weeks? Like, I want you to have the CEO. So that was my first episode with 2 people, and that was episode 5. And from there, I kind of started, okay, how do we keep going with the CEOs and the business owners and the entrepreneurs that started something? So it's been crazy.
And this is a YouTube channel, I take it?
Yeah, I share everything on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is kind of my main source.
We had somebody here just the other day talking about social media. Oh, it was from Miller Farm Media, another group that does lots of video here in the county. And his contention was that YouTube's huge. Facebook and Instagram want to do short videos. They don't really want long-form videos as much on those platforms. It's something you're
people's attention span in general these days is a lot shorter.
But he said LinkedIn's the opportunity. He said LinkedIn is looking for videos that are 10 to 15 minutes long.
Same theory still applies, I think. It's just human nature. I think what all these people that are talking about multiple platforms are missing is that you, Paul, have an Instagram account, have a Facebook account, have a LinkedIn account. You don't put on a different hat when you go to LinkedIn beyond the fact that you regard it as being more professional. Mm-hmm. You are still the same person with the same habits of social media interaction that is now basically on the LinkedIn page.
Although he says the different mediums, you spend different, you consume them differently in different places.
You do, but I thought...
And therefore you spend different amount of time in them.
You do, but I will tell you something.
You want the cat video of your friends on Facebook. You don't necessarily want a 15-minute...
Well, right, and don't give me your cat video on LinkedIn. However, if you are posting on social media in a personable manner relevant to your brand and your business, then you're not basically posting the fact that the baby burped and threw up on your shoulder. God dang it, the mechanics replaced the oil and they forgot to cap to put the cap on the oil reservoir. You're posting.
Are you sharing personal stories from your Facebook
I'm sharing
page?
stories of certain people that I have encountered over the course of being online. I've been online since '94.
Oh, you're a pioneer in the space.
Okay, on '94 when we were paying $1 a minute. Okay, I have seen every single persona and personality that is engaging in social media that I know personally or 2 degrees of separation from today. I have seen you and your likes since '94 on the internet, and that was at $1 a minute, not $19 a month. Okay, for DSL, that was $1 a minute at a modem that went
Exactly. It took forever to.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then you didn't connect every other time, right? So the thing about it is that you really don't change who you are. The medium of internet magnifies or amplifies some of the things that you are, and it's hard to hide it unless you are really, really good and you craft this story where you're feeding, content in a certain way to build an image. People can see right through it.
It's hard to be fake on social media.
It's really hard. Over a period of time, it's almost impossible. So you start off with her. Your fifth show, somebody is flying in to basically do the show, or being here, and then they basically are going to do the show as well. Who are some of the people that we would know that maybe you interviewed that are based, or industries, like what stands out for you?
Or the stories that stand out. It can be good, bad, or whatever. Just give us some that 39 that you go.
Before you answer that, though, are we going to take a break?
It's up to you.
Let's take a break and come back with Andrew. I'm going to give him a chance to basically kind of get his thoughts together.
I'm going to think about it. All right.
Imagine what it would feel like to lose everything. Your job, your home, your family, your dignity. This has happened to thousands of the men, women, veterans, and young adults we serve at Working Wardrobes. What do we do to help? We provide career development services, life skills workshops, job skills training. We provide the perfect interview outfit, and we get clients placed in jobs. Call Working Wardrobes, 714-210-2460. Donate, volunteer, invest, hire.
I'm on the observation deck of the Empire State Building to demonstrate how much material Waste Management recycles. As North America's largest residential recycler, last year alone, Waste Management recycled 12.9 million tons. How much is that? Let's do the math. Carry the 6. It's enough to fill this building more than 27 times. With experience like that, we're bound to have a program that can help your business recycle. Talk to Waste Management or visit thinkgreen.com.
We are back with Mr. Andrew Lopez from Partner Channel OC. You are listening to the Raad Life, a podcast.
Right here in Orange County's only community radio station, OC Talk Radio.
Produced by Golden State Media Group.
Yeah, we need somebody we need like an echoey voice that says it. Brought to you by.
Brought to you by Golden State Media Group.
Brought to you by. No,
if my partner on the Checkout California and Golden State Media shows up early for our next show, which is Checkout California, it starts at 1:00. I will have him basically maybe do that for the Checkout California. We'll try him out. We'll let him like audition for that voiceover. Andrew, before we went to the break, I asked you to share. You had just a little background for people that are joining us now. You started Partner Channel OC in May. 6 months ago. You had an inkling that you wanted to do this. You wanted to do this, and basically ended up rolling it out, and quickly it got traction. And you've had 39 guests that you've interviewed in the 6-month period. You got a target of 50 by the end of December. What are some of the guests that stand out for you, and what are some of the things that you learned in the course of the 6 months that either surprised you or that you feel kind of rewarded by? Because I know that when you do something like this, there's other rewards that come out of it other than just the monetary that really kind of feed a part of your soul. So can you share that, please?
Yeah, I can go through a few of my favorite guests and kind of what I've learned from them.
I'm sure that you like all of them.
Oh, I love everybody. Everyone who's been on the show, as I say, almost at the end of every episode now, is thank you for being a part of the Partner Channel OC family. And I'm all about family. I'm all about relationship. I'm all about partnership, and that's what the show's about. One of my favorite ones is you got to get to know her. Her name's Jenna Viviano. She was episode 12, and she is based in Franklin, Tennessee. And this is the power of LinkedIn is, she had this post, and I think she's connected with a few people that I was connected with first, and she had this post that came up on my feed, and it was about being the youngest in a room. And I was going out to Nashville for 4th of July, by the way, which is one of the greatest places to go for 4th of July. Add that to your calendar. Amazing experience. So I connected with her a few weeks before, and I was like, hey, Jenna, I have this show, here's my website, here's the guests that I've had, I'm 11 episodes in. Can I interview on my show? I know it's Partner Channel OC, Orange County, Southern California, but I'm coming to you. Will you be on there? And she was like, oh my gosh, yeah. So what Jenna does is she is my age. She's 28, 29, I believe. Apologize to her if I'm getting the age wrong, but she helps people that are later in their careers rebrand themselves. She's a career consultant. So what she does is
that's very big and very much in demand and much needed.
Which is huge. And she has clients all over the country
careers.
now. She would do this program called Recruit the Employer. It was an 8-week one-on-one where she would take you if you were changing careers, and she'd be like, all right, Rod, we're going to help you rebrand yourself.
Right.
And you recruit the employer. You go after the job that you want. You don't sit back and wait.
Right.
But in the interview, we're talking with her, and she's episode 12 on the website, and I encourage you to...
Let's give people the website.
Yeah, the website, www.partnerchanneloc.com. I have a LinkedIn page. I have an Instagram. But this is where you can find all the episodes. And Jenna was very, very... It was amazing to see, how someone our age can inspire people 20 years older than us. Mm-hmm. But her whole, value on being the youngest in the room and success is what you make it. There's no, poster on the wall that this is what success is.
It's usually not what you think it is anyway.
It's not. It's what you make it. Your value of success and Paul's value of success and mine, a generational thing, is very, very different.
Right.
So I was super inspired by that, and I've taken that into, hanging out at the Center Club and hanging out at networking events. I always try to be the youngest in the room and try and learn and listen to the ones that are around me, and I took that nugget from her.
I love that about
which
you,
is
by
cool.
the way. Yeah, it's a great trait.
Yes, thank you, Jenna
well.
Viviano. Hopefully connect with her. She's out there. She's got a lot of good stuff going on, so I wanted to shout her out. Someone else that I've had, let's see, Rachel Sabota. Mm-hmm. Rachel was number 10. She has been one of my number one fans of Partner Channel OC. She has adopted me and really, really said, hey, this kid's got something going. I met her at a bar in Corona Del Mar. I was playing in a band, and she came in with some friends, and my mom was like, hey, I like your nails. And Rachel was like, oh my gosh, what are you doing in this place? And oh, my son's the drummer. And, I got to meet her 2 years ago, and I've got to watch her career unfold and what she's created, and having her on the show and, everything she's done for us recently. Nicole Christopherson, she's a realtor, episode 17. She's based here in Rancho Santa Margarita. She taught me to really value relationships. It's not just about selling houses to her. It's about the relationship beyond. Yeah. I hand you the keys, and it's more than just the transaction. It's, hey, you have 2 kids that are my daughter's age. Let's go to dinner next weekend. Let's all go to the gym together. So she's built this whole value on community, which is amazing. I'd never heard that from the real estate or the brokerage.
So what do you tell people that basically in their mind their approach to relationships is transactional? Because we live in a world that unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know. It's just not how I'm DNA wired, right? They look at relationships as transactional. What is in it for me? What can I get out of it? Quid pro quo is a common thing that happens. I prefer win-win, but it's also even kind of similarly, right? Mm-hmm. What do you think that is? What you got out of a lot of the people that you interviewed, that is how they evaluate relationships as transactional? Or maybe some of them? Or
no, most everybody that I've had on my show, I've gotten to know, whether it's a phone call or over coffee first, and I can kind of tell that they're more than just the transaction. That's why it fits. That's why it fits it fits the show, and that's why I asked that question. I asked 3 questions. The first one's not really a question. It's tell me about yourself. Give me some background. Tell me who you are. And then the second question is, what is your business? Why did you start it? I'm fascinated with the why. I feel like you might go to a restaurant, you might go to a networking event, and what do you do? Oh, I own my own business, yada yada. But someone, oh yeah, that's cool. I hope hope it's going well. No one probably looks at you in the eye and says, why did you start your business?
Yeah, it's a very superficial level.
Yes,
it's
and
not
it makes
a depth of contact.
It makes you kind of think about it and chuckle for a second. Oh, this is why I started my business. I wanted to do it differently. I wanted to do it better. I wanted to change my career path. So capturing that why, to me, is the story.
Have you ever seen the video by Simon Sinek? It's been made the rounds. It's pretty famous on TED Talks. He's built a whole business around it. Find your why. People don't want to do business with you until they know why you're in business. They want to They want to be part of something. They want to
And-
buy
and-
into
and
your
your- and-
passion
and-
and your vision.
And your why can't be something that you read on the back of a Cracker Jacker box. I mean, it has to resonate directly with your core soul. And I was at a networking event yesterday, and I was engaged in a conversation with somebody, didn't know. And it's fascinating when you encounter people that actually are genuinely open, and they will actually share with you. And this lady was in her 30s, and she was talking about how, to her, it isn't about the people that come across as having it all perfect, that have the moral high ground, that basically never stumbled. Because the truth is, that's not reality, and that's not the truth. The truth is, the only reason that most people get to where they go is because they've made mistakes, because they've stumbled, because they've opened themselves to go off the beaten track and follow the road less traveled. And, they may have done it when they were young. They may have done it when they're old. Everybody's on their own journey of learning and discovery. And we live in a world that basically tries to fit you into, especially with glossy, everybody's happy on social media, right? Everybody's posting, the positive aspects on social media. But that's not reality. And so when you sit down with somebody, I mean, we're doing it right now. When you sit down with somebody that's willing to go there with you, it's an amazing gift that they give you.
Absolutely. And I love capturing that. And I think it makes it easier for someone to reach out. My goal, step one, is when I post this on LinkedIn, I tag my guests in it, I tag the business, I put it on my website, I backlink it to their website. My goal first is that somebody watches the video and says, oh my gosh, I need their services for my business. And to me, that's like the greatest gift I could give at first, is like, wow,
You know what I got out of the videos that I was watching from your channel? The first thing that hit me with some people wasn't that. What hit me with some people was where I said, wow, I could relate to that. Like, wow, I get where they're coming from. I see what they just went through.
Yeah.
And I could actually, it wasn't an issue of empathy. It was an issue of relativity. Okay? And to me, that engaged me more. Now I was genuinely interested. I wasn't just saying, hey, so how are you doing? And before you even tell me what I hear coming out of your mouth, which never comes out of your mouth, oh, I'm fine, how are you? Like it's superficial. That wasn't what I got out of your episodes. What I got out of your episodes from the people that you were interviewing is you were able to pull out of them what was really at the essence of their story, that they were within their comfort levels willing to share. And that's what made that content worth watching. And you gave them the spotlight.
Yeah. I mean, I always joke, I'm just the Ryan Seacrest, looking up to an idol as a kid. I'm just the host. I just love capturing the story. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's very good.
How long are these pieces?
I shoot for 10 minutes. It's one shot. I ask the 3 questions. Some of the episodes go past 10 minutes. Some only go 6 minutes. But I shoot for, one shot, press play, get in front of the camera, start, and then stop it.
Right.
There's really no editing involved. It's just capturing the shot. So if someone says a couple times or pauses for a second, I want that authenticity.
Yeah, absolutely.
I give people the 3 questions beforehand, but I say don't think about it too much. I want to capture the reaction. If you look at some of these videos, why did you start your business? You'll see a couple people like, oh, okay.
I know a lot of people will be very surprised, but I didn't look at Andrew's questions.
No, but
I'm joking because I don't do that. I mean, it is really important to hear what Andrew just said. Okay, you cannot over analyze and strategize and prepare in today. Okay, you either are able to connect with people, or at some really core level, or you're not. But in order to do that, you got to put yourself in a vulnerable position. You got to open yourself up. And by example, encourage that person to meet you halfway. When I first met you, I'll tell you, man, it was pretty cool. And then we had a gathering where you brought in some of the people that and we were talking about how to, partner, and we're working on this. It's awesome. I'm looking so much forward to the collaboration between Partner Channel OC and Golden State Media. As am I. It's an amazing experience. It's been an amazing experience so far, and I think it's just going to be wonderful. I can't wait to bring more and more content to people. But when you brought those people around, and I said it at the meeting, those people were a reflection of what you put out. Because they came with that same mindset. And when we sat down around the table, we were it's like we knew each other for 20 years.
Yeah.
You know? So that is super, super cool to get captured. Every one of your guests will probably look back and go, wow, that was... I mean, I don't know about you, but do you feel that when the guests get off that show, they have sort of a common experience reference point? Like, is it something common that feels like, oh, that was great? Or what if most people
Yeah,
said...
I mean, a couple people have said, Andrew, I've had my business for 20 years, and I had to rethink why I started my business. Because I've been going for 20 years nonstop, building something.
Working in,
and now they're working on
the business.
Love that.
Yeah.
And they chuckle like, oh my gosh, my reason for starting it 20 years ago is different. Yeah. But now my reason of starting it, it changes. And it's been crazy. Judy Sargent, bless Judy Sargent. She's a San Clemente resident, just like two of us. San
Clemente.
She does workflow solutions, and she helps marketing agencies kind of with their process and their flow.
Yeah.
Her video that we shot in the studio at Right Click off the 55 and Dyer, her video, she sent it to all of her newsletter and contacts. And there was someone in her contacts that forwarded it to her boss. No coffee interview, no phone call. The boss said, from this interview with this kid, Andrew, in this 10-minute segment of Judy telling her story, coming from Atlanta, starting living in San Clemente, he said, she's hired. I want her for next year to help with this process. Mm-hmm. So it's amazing that I brought that value to Judy. Mm-hmm. off a simple just, hey, these are the 3 questions, mm-hmm. this and that. And the other people have gotten to meet. Kelly Lamb. Mm-hmm. Kelly Lamb, the whole purpose, amazing thing that what she does. She was episode 29. She does corporate wellness, mm-hmm. Corporate wellness packages and services for corporations.
Yep.
Everybody wants to be happy. Her slogan is "Be happy, be healthy."
Yeah, she's got a great.
She's got an awesome concept, and she introduced me to her husband, Mr. Wing Lamb, Wahoo's Fish Taco, which has been one of my favorite episodes, only because Wing is an amazing man. His value on partnership, his value on family, his value on kindness is huge. Mm-hmm. Growing up as a kid here, Wahoo's is a staple. Right. It's always been, I used to eat there 2 days a week and always wanted to have Wahoo's, sponsor a couple small things that I've done in the past. Just, oh yeah, Wahoo's is the mecca. But getting to know Wing and sit at the original restaurant a couple weeks ago and capture his story of what him and his brothers created 30 years ago, I was blown away. It's more than just a taco on a plate.
And I want to just stop for a minute, though, because you said something, and I don't want you to just gloss over it, okay? It is interesting how life is a circle within a circle, right?
Yeah.
Because what you're referring to, and you shared this with me, is that at some point when you were younger, like yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You actually tried to get sponsored by Wahoo's.
Yeah, Wing doesn't even know this. This is funny about it.
All right, so go ahead. Wing, if you're listening, this was actually I found this to be very interesting. How life basically is a cycle, and it circles back around. When what's meant to happen happens, is you with a couple of your friends did something. You don't have to go say when, but what did you do?
No, it was back in June of 2012. Okay. We couldn't even drink yet. My buddy Adam Forney, one of my dear friends, has been one of my longest friends for 18 years.
Yeah.
I met him when I was 6 years old. We decided, we'd seen some videos on YouTube at the time, and 2012 was like YouTube's big now, but YouTube was bigger for our generation,
Yeah.
We decided to get on our skateboards, our penny boards, and ride our skateboards from Long Beach, the Lighthouse, Queen Mary, to Petco Park in San Diego. Yeah. And we were trying to get ad sponsorships and Hurley and Ruka and all these people to follow. It's stupid. My mom, Adam's mom.
This is the beauty of youth, man.
It's the beauty of youth. Summertime, we took 4-day trip. We scheduled it out.
In your minds, it was totally doable.
It was totally doable. Yeah. Before, I had my first, smartphone.
What do you mean I have to find the address and knock on the door and see if they get rejected or not?
We used MapQuest.
It was going to happen.
And MapQuest was still cool, and we figured out how to get PCH cut over at San Clemente,
Yeah.
But I remember walking into Wahoo's and being like, I wonder if they would sponsor us. So I walked in there at their office over there off the 55 and Dyer, back in 2012. And I remember just kind of talking to the front desk lady and, oh, this is who you reach out to. And I remember just being scared. And I look now, kind of getting what I would say, not turned down, but just, they're going to take 2 19-year-old kids, trying to go on this adventure. Meeting Kelly Lamb and saying, oh my gosh, Andrew, what you did was amazing with our, sharing it out. You should interview my husband. I'm like, well, who's your husband?
You didn't even connect the dots.
I even connected dots until she was like, "Oh, do you know about Wahoo's Fish Taco?" And I was like,
because you're not transactional. Because you are basically about relationships and putting that guest first, and it's them that is the show, not you.
Yeah,
that's really. I mean, it speaks volumes to you, dude. I mean, that's why I'm trying to draw this out of you, because you even had a reference point.
Mm-hmm.
Like almost not necessarily a grudge. It was like, damn it, I remember when we tried to get a sponsorship and I didn't get a sponsorship, and I know it was just kind of a childish thing to do, but here I am. But you didn't connect the dots, and so you ended up sitting in front of Wing Lam and interviewing him
at the original location on 19th and Placentia in Costa Mesa.
And you work a stone's throw away from their headquarters.
Yes.
So there's your life, right? Like, life
it's crazy how it all
circles within circles.
It all circles back, and that's it's been amazing, and I'm looking forward to just keep going and to share all this with everybody. And I like to call myself a walking billboard. If I go to a networking event or I meet someone at the mall, and I get to talking and I pull the content out of them, even if it's not off camera, I now have a stack of people in my Rolodex or in my back pocket, if you will, or I can connect people.
Right. And I'm Golden State Media, myself, we're trying to connect Andrew with people. We already have a bunch of people lined up for him to interview. We really are excited about working out this relationship with Partner Channel OC. It is it's all about caliber and quality of content. It's not about volume. You have to have the volume because it's just the way the world is.
Yeah.
But you have to be genuinely interested in making sure that the caliber and the content, the bar, it remains at a certain height, and it's not all about the sizzle. It's got to be the substance too.
Yeah.
I won't say the steak, but it has to be the substance. And say no to the cacophony of content. It's not about volume. Andrew, let's give people the website again.
Yeah, it's just partnerchannelOC.com. I have a LinkedIn page. That's where all my stuff gets posted first. Then it gets onto the website, and it gets backlinked to all my guests' page. I have an Instagram at partnerchannelOC.
Right.
Those are kind of my three main things. Facebook as well.
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn's my main source. That's where I post everything, and that's where the network starts virtually.
Right.
And that's kind of where the relationship starts virtually as well. It's good to do what you enjoy, as long as you enjoy doing what you love.
If you're fortunate enough to find that speaks to your soul, and makes you want to make it better every day, you are a very lucky human being. And so I thank you for being here and sharing that story and that passion that I think anybody who's listened for 2 seconds today sees.
Yes.
I can't wait to do more with you. And it's been an amazing adventure so far, buddy. So thank you very much.
Yes, thank you so much. It's all about the story you should tell, and that's where I am. And I'm very, glad to be here, and I thank you for what we got going on and just your time, your enthusiasm, and your trust. And it's been amazing. So cheers to you.
It is my absolute pleasure. And thank you, everybody, for joining us for this episode of the Raad Life, brought to you by Golden State Media Group and run on OC Talk Radio. If you have any issue getting hold of Andrew Lopez or finding his partner channel OC, which if you are having difficulty, I don't know why, because he's all over the place, reach out to me at Raad, RAAD Gantus, GHANTOUS at gmail.com, or reach us on Facebook or Instagram as well. I encourage you to go and check out this young man's content. He is amazing at what he does and is only going to get better, and I can't wait to see what you do next.
Cheers. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You have been listening to the Raad Life radio show with your host and age explorer, Raad Gantos, brought to you on the one and only OCTalkRadio.net. Join us again next week as we continue our journey of discovery into life's challenges, opportunities, options, and all the latest and greatest things that come with getting older.